Hello, hello, hello. All right. So if you're just jumping into this live stream, this is where I fucked up yesterday. Those of you, if you paid attention to the show yesterday, I said that I was going to give my least favorite to favorite Rat song or Rat albums. And then after we got done last night, I realized I hadn't done it, which is kind of funny. Anyway, so if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, this is the addendum on the YouTube channel. If you're listening to the audio only version, all of a sudden it's going to be Scott and Kim talking for a bit, and all of a sudden I'm going to jump right in where you're going to hear me talk and come up, do this, and all of a sudden it's going to go right back to us closing the show. So I'm doing this live on YouTube on Wednesday, so literally almost a day after the original episode. So I'm not going to go through all the normal bullshit I know, or no more bullshit, the normal business because I don't have Kim with me. She likes to do that, and I don't like all the bullshit. It's just the way I am. My brain's not working right now. You can't see it because I don't have the green screen up, so that's why the screen really looks fucking weird. I just left it up there. Uh, anyways, and if you're hearing sirens going off in the background, it's because I have YouTube up with with a live stream of Kiev from Ukraine. So if there's any sirens going off, you know why. Um, Never mind. Hold on a minute. Some dude's talking. Never mind. You don't have to worry about it because he's going to be stopping the stream and firing up because I think you only got like 12 hours of YouTube and then you have to start a new one. Anyways, enough of this banter. Let's go to get into this. I'm not expecting anybody to show up in the chat. So if you watch this later, it's just an addendum, mainly because I forgot to give you my least favorite albums to my favorite albums. Like I said again on the audio, you guys are gonna hear all of this in between, but you're gonna realize what the hell is gonna happen, and then the show is gonna go normal close with me and Kim again, or wherever I stick it at in the audio version, which I'd be fucking hilarious. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start this. My least favorite Ratt album is 1999's Ratt, self-titled. That album, in my opinion, is literally Ratt trying to mix in 80s, their 80s sound with the grunge of the early 90s. Like, again, like I stated, yet, and like I said earlier, if you're listening to the audio, but yesterday, if you're watching YouTube, they try, there's points where it sounded like STP, Stone Temple Pilots, also Alice in Chains. I heard that in there. I've even heard probably a little bit of Nirvana, but they were trying to mix it in with the 80s sound, and it didn't mix. It didn't sound right. And it's another album that doesn't have a flow to it. So that one is my least favorite. My next least favorite, or number 7 on my list, would be Ratt's Dancing Undercover. Now, this one came right after Invasion of Your Privacy. This album, again, it starts off the first 3 or 4 songs really don't make sense where they belong. Then you have a string of about 4 or 5 songs, 3 or 4 songs that actually make sense in an order where the music sounds right. It seems like you're continuing on a flow, and then it goes all. Then the last couple songs are out of place. Maybe maybe one of these days I'll actually try to reorder the album the way I think it should be, and maybe I'll do a little tidbit where we revisit Ratt, and I'll bring up what or how I would reorder Dancing Undercover to see if it makes it sound any better. Again, Dancing Undercover, that's the album that had the singles Dance, Slip of the Tongue, or Slip of the Lip, sorry, Slip of the Tongue, Slip of the Lip, and Body Talk. And Body Talk was also used on the Eddie Murphy movie, The Golden Child. Number 6, Ratt's last album came out in 2010, Infestation. Again, it could easily go drop in between Out of the Cellar or Invasion, but honestly, I think that album there, Infestation, really could be the album after Invasion of Your Privacy. It should have been what ended up being Dancing Undercover, but again, it took till 2010. But then again, you're also still missing Robin Crosby and Juan Crosser, are both not in the band at this time. Robin obviously has passed away by now. But again, I do like this album. Robbie Crane fills in great on bass, and so does Carlos Cavazo from Quiet, who was originally with Quiet Riot. Again, my number 6 is Infestation. Number 5, this one shocked me. This one actually, for the longest time, would have been this would have been number 7. It would have, because I never really cared for this album. I listened to it back in the 80s. But Reach for the Sky, when me and Kim listened to it yesterday, so she could get a chance to listen to the album, and I'm like listening to it and going, holy crap, besides Way Cool Jr. is an okay song, the rest of the album is actually really fucking good. It has its moments. I was really shocked that it was really that good of an album. And yeah, it was just completely shocked me. Next up, so that was number 5. My number 4 album is Detonator. Now, this one came out was either 90 or 91, and I think it was 90. And this one had the lead single off it was Loving You's a Dirty Job. I believe they had a single for Shame, 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 Giving Yourself Away. But this album here is definitely one I can listen to front to back. There's not a song there I don't like. I actually enjoy this album. It is definitely a little bit harder of what Ratt was doing, at least from where they between Invasion, Dancing Undercover, and Reach for the Sky. This one was definitely a harder, grittier album, in my opinion. Again, maybe it was just due to the fact that the band had matured. They matured in their writing, and it was, to me, it was just a damn good album. Well, number 3. Now we're getting to the top 3. Number 3 is Invasion of Your Privacy. Now, this is the first Ratt album. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is not the first. This is the second Ratt album I owned. Full album. I love this album. Listen to it front to back. There might have been 1 or 2 songs I really didn't care for. Like I mentioned during these songs, I think it's Got Me Online, and fuck, I can't remember where it goes now. I should have had this shit ready, but I don't. I just pulled the albums up right because I heard the funny part was after we got done last night, we erased our notes that we had on our phones of our songs, and below my songs were the albums, below the honorable mentions, and we erased them, got it ready, relabeled it Chris Ledoux, got ready for getting ready for next week. Just a little sidebar note there. Anyway, so Invasion of Your Privacy has got Lay It Down, You're in Love, those 2 big hits off of it, but there's a really good ballad on it, which I can fucking remember the name of. But then on the B side, you've got Me Online, You Should Know By Now. Those, and I love the way those 2 go together, just because as soon as the one says Nobody Hangs Up on Me, it goes right into the next song. There's no fucking break. Even when I listen to it on Apple iTunes through the TV, there's no break. It doesn't seem like there's a break. Hey, Tom, I just real quick to reiterate pretty much what happened was yesterday during the live show, I forgot to do my least favorite to favorite Ratt album. So I'm just doing an addendum just to slap it into the audio, but I figured I'd also put it here on YouTube. So that's why I decided to go live. So after Invasion of Your Privacy, now, of course, when I talk about albums, I talk about full length records. I usually don't include EPs, except for this time. Number 2, I will put Ratt EP. They're obviously their first record or first album. They sold 100,000 copies of it, and it is a very damn good demo. And that's what, when a band releases their own stuff, it is a demo. It's a demo trying to get, especially back then, it was a demo trying to get a record deal. So again, Motley Crue did it with Too Fast for Love. Honestly, I think this one's a lot better than Too Fast for Love, just in how it sounds. Yeah, you guys, they whooped Nevada yesterday. I did catch that, Tom. Tom put it in the chat. How about them Broncos? Boise State Broncos did beat Nevada Wolfpack in basketball yesterday. Big fucking deal. I'm not. As far as like basketball goes, Final Four tournament. That's when I care. When I'll pay attention to anything. If any of the Mountain West teams make it, I will root for them. I really hope they will beat some of the bigger teams. But Nevada. I mean, I've seen the Sweet 16 trophy that we got. God, I don't remember what fucking year it was. We had Fazekas that year. That's all I remember. But yeah, I got to see that one. But yeah, all right, on man. Broncos Mountain West champs. Nice, brother. Nice. Good. Maybe they'll get a good spot. Hopefully they'll get a decent spot in the tournament. But yeah, the Ratt EP's got songs like Sweet Cheater, the longer version of Back for More, which is the one I love the most out of the two versions of Back for More. But it's just a solid demo. It is solid. It you can tell it's a demo, or you can tell it's released, not released by a record company. It's put together, but it's not sloppy, and it really sounds good. It probably holds up against some of their other albums, especially my least favorite ones. And then we get to number one, Uno Numeral, Out of the Cellar, their first full-length LP. This was the first Ratt album I ever bought, I ever had. And this one, of course, you get the big song off of it. Most people only know Ratt for is Rounded Round. But there's Wanted Man, there's Lack of Communication, there's Scene of the Crime are all on this album. And the album itself is solid. I can definitely listen to pretty much my top four. Actually, I'll take that back. My top five, which is, again, Reach for the Sky, going backwards from 5. Reach for the Sky album, Detonator 4, Invasion of Your Privacy 3, Ratt EP 2, and Out of the Cellar number 1. I can listen to those 5 albums pretty much. I can listen to them straight through. I don't have to stop. And if I'm listening to it on a record, I'm gonna listen to it regardless all the way through. I'm not, back in the day, I probably would have picked up the needle and moved it if I wanted to, if I didn't want to listen to a certain song. But nowadays, if I'm listening on iTunes or even playing a CD, I'll listen to it fully. I won't skip songs on those 5. Infestation depends on my mood. There's a couple songs on there that aren't up to par, but then again, it's technically their last album, so we'll have to wait and see if they're gonna do anything else. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. It's no big deal. I mean, they're not getting the money like Motley Crue is. They're not getting the money like Def Leppard is. They're not getting the money like Bon Jovi is. Those bands are all ranking in dough to go on tour. And there's Nightbot. Don't worry, Tom. Nightbot should be under control now. God, I can't believe that yesterday. But anyways, so that's my top 10, my least favorite to my favorite albums of Ratt. Again, I was supposed to do this yesterday during the show, and I forgot to do it. After we got done with the show and we were erasing everything and I realized at that moment, oh shit, I forgot to do this. Mainly because I knew we had to start listening to Chris Ledoux albums because there's 30 fucking albums to listen to. And for Kim, luckily for me, I've heard most of his albums. There's a few I haven't. But for Kim, she's not heard a lot of his. She's heard a few songs here and there, or either radio plays or whatnot. But for me, I've definitely owned most of his, at least of the CDs. So that'll be a fun episode next week with Colby. At night, Party Pooper is in the house. Yes, sir. Yeah, well, like I said, hope that one's fixed. But as far as like you audio people listening to this, when this does get released with the actual episode, it's going to be just dropped in. And then you're going to hear, after I get done here, you're going to hear me and Kim talking again and probably closing the show. So that's why there's a weird audio spot in there where it's just me and not Kim involved. And Kim would have been involved in the Ratt albums because she felt that after just listening to him for one time, she really can really put an album list together. She'd like to have a chance to listen to him a few more times. But anyways, next week we've got. I'll close this out, but I'll cut this from the audio. So let me just say this real quick for the audio only. Back to me and Kim. And next week, live on YouTube, we will have Colby on, my son, and we'll be talking about Chris Ledoux, the singing cowboy from KC, Wyoming. He passed away, I think it was in 2002. But we're going to talk about Chris Ledoux. We're going to go over all his album, or not over his album. We're going to go over our top 10 songs and top 10 albums. So we'll see how that goes. And then the week after, not next week, but the week after, I got these ready for next week. Not thinking I was going to go live today. Anyways, next week after Chris Ledoux, we will have our episode about Meatloaf with Shanti and or General Shinobi. So right on, man. And everybody knows the Boise State Broncos are headed to the Vegas tournament. Right on. Go Broncos. And until next Tuesday, when it will be both me and Kim again, have a great week, great weekend. Be kind to everyone. Thanks for joining the chat, Tom. Peace. Night, Tom. Night, everybody.